Okay, so the next steps that we want to do in our ArchiCAD model is the neighbour on the left. So this neighbour has a series of different roof planes. So you can see here that there's a ridgeline going across here, and then it looks like there's another ridgeline going across here for a number of different triangulated roof planes, but that the ridge meets this ridge so that they would presumably be at the same level. Now this next one here, not entirely sure that it meets this ridge. It may appear that the ridge of these pairs of roof planes ends probably here, which possibly indicates that this pair of roofs is lower. Okay, so it's time to make some judgments based on images from your photos, and I'm going to make some educated guesses about what the RL levels are here based on the photographs as well. So the first thing that we're going to do though, before we draw the roof shape, is actually, because this is a plan perspective view from Google Maps, what you can see immediately is that it's skewed slightly, and I see the sides of the buildings even though this is an aerial view. Okay, it's because the aerial view is slightly skewed. So it does mean that if I'm drawing the roof, technically I should be drawing it above the in relation to the ground line. So the roof presumably goes to here, but because the Google Maps image is skewed, it's slightly off course over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the roof here, and then I'm going to just move it across so that it's sitting with one edge of the roofs on this grid line. Okay, so this is just making a point about the fact that this Google Images map isn't necessarily very accurate because of the skewed plan perspective. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is go into our roof tool, and we discussed in class earlier that it's likely that these roof slopes are at 45 degrees, and we're going to have no offset, similar to the way that we constructed the neighbour on the right. And at this stage we'll leave the RL as it defaults, because we will build the roof and then have a look at the relative level of the roof plane compared to the building on the right, based on images of the building itself and its context from images taken from the street. Okay, so you may have some great pictures that you've taken from the street, so that you can make your own judgments about what the RL levels are for the building on the left. But I've taken some RL levels of my own, so you're also welcome to use the RL levels that I am going to nominate for this left-hand side building. Okay, so just with the roof default settings, we're leaving the RL to project 0 as it is. The roof thickness is going to be 150 at an angle of 45 degrees. We're going to have, now the way that we're going to construct this is using the single planes. Okay, now the single plane, we're still having it at 45 degrees, but it means that we're going to draw them as single planes and then mirror those planes about the ridge line. So similar to the way we drew this roof, not the way that we drew this other roof, which was the multi-plane geometry method. Okay, so cut fill as airspace is fine. The model, we're going to use the generic fascia, is fine, and then the site context should be the layer that it's allocated to. So if we press OK, the first roof that we will deal with is this one here. So I'm going to, I'm going to draw the pitching line first. So the pitching line, as we discussed in class, is the pivot line at the base of the rafter, the base of the roof plane. So if my intention is to draw this roof plane, it obviously inclines upward at 45 degrees towards the ridge. So I should draw the pivot line or the pitching line here, okay? And the pitching line should be parallel to the grid. And then I can draw the pitching line and then click below, in this case, the pitching line to indicate that the rise from the pitching line is going to go up towards this ridge level. And then I'm going to click my left mouse button and then draw the shape of this roof. Okay. So once I draw this shape, then I press Control-Shift-M and mirror it about this axis. So notice how I'm just drawing along the mirror axis. Then that's done. Okay, I'm actually going to nudge it across, Control-D, just to where the end point of this pair of roofs is. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go Control-Shift-D. Sorry, we're going to go Shift-Click to select both roof planes and then press Control-Shift-E. Okay, the shortcut that is Control-Shift-E is rotate a copy. So I'm going to rotate like this. Okay, so did you see what I did? I drew a line from here to here. And the rotation is about the center of where I first clicked. So I'm rotating like this. Okay, see how the circle comes up? Then I'm going to rotate, so snap to 90 degrees, and then I'm going to Control-D to drag to here. Oh, actually, I'm going to drag to here. Okay, so then I'm going to go into 3D by marking, using the marquee tool, and then pressing F5. Okay, remember F5 just shows me what is in the, F5 shows me in 3D what is marqueed in plan. Then I'm going to use the scissors click method to marry this roof with the selected plane. So I'm going to go click and then orbit around, press the O key to orbit around. Okay, orbit, just fit to window. So orbit around to here, then press O again to unorbit, and then hold the shift key and then click. Okay, so then I'm going to go back to plan by pressing F2, and I'm going to offset these back. Okay, so I'm going to offset to here and offset to here. Great. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is go Control-Shift-E and rotate a copy. Okay, and notice where I rotated, I went and I rotated about this, at this point, this line. Okay, that gives me one of those. And then I'm going to select this one and go Control-Shift-E again, and then rotate another one to here. Okay. And then I'm going to draw another roof plane. Actually, let's just have a look at what this looks like in 3D. Draw another roof plane that is from, I'm going to draw pitch from here upwards, then I'm going to pitch to, now I'm going to hold the shift key and I'm going to pitch to there. See what I've done? I've just drawn a half roof, and then I'm going to offset that roof. So notice how the fourth option is selected to here, and then Control-Shift-E to mirror, Control Shift M to mirror about this axis. Okay, so let's have a look at what's happened. Okay, great. Now, have a look at that, and that looks fairly close to what the roof looks like in the pictures that we've taken. Okay, so I'm going to stop the tutorial just there, and we'll continue with this roof in the next tutorial.